Alright, time to do a little bit of servicing on this dirty floppy drive, and as you saw in episode 1, this was not working when tested, so probably stuck with a lot of shit or something. Yeah, it is an Alps drive, and yeah, fairly low serial number. So there is a lot of dust and crust inside this mechanism, and what I'm gonna do now is to take this out in my garage and blow away all the dust. I don't want that flying around in my lab here. Now I want to remove the front of the drive, just to be able to clean everything. Just 2 screws on each side. Just to loosen the lock for the LED. Look, a lot of shit here too. So this is how much I want to disassemble this drive, and the rest I try to clean up as good as I can. I'm gonna use a lot of IPA for sure. So one thing I noticed was that the drive head was not moving very happily. Now I have cleaned as good as I can, but it's still a little bit hard to slide it back. So I try to clean this band going here that drives the head from the stepper motor back and forth. And also I'm gonna clean the 2 metal rods that the drive head is sliding on, and then I'm gonna lubricate it. On the back side of the drive it looks okay. I have cleaned it a little bit, and the drive belt seems to be good shape. Now I'm gonna clean the read and write head, and I have a clean cotton swab here, and I just had some IPA on it, and I just gently rub over the read and write head, and then I just twist it a little bit around to clean up any dirt. Finally I use the clean and dry side afterwards to wipe one more time. Now that everything is clean, I use a little bit of a silicone grease on a cotton swab. I'm gonna use that to lubricate, if I can manage to get anything out. Yeah, there it comes. So lubricate these rails here. Also a little bit on here, where this plastic arm is sliding. So just move it back and forth, see if it gets smoother. I'm also gonna lubricate a little bit these wheels that are turning the drive head. No, that's a lot smoother actually. Also notice that the disc underneath here, which is holding down to the floppy, it's not turning lightly, so I'm gonna put a little bit of grease here, I think. Maybe that's gonna help. Alright, I think that's it for the servicing. Hopefully this will work and make this drive work again, so I'm gonna just assemble it again and yeah, maybe I should try and actually test it, but not really sure how, because it has actually different connectors than the regular 1541 drive mechanisms. I'll think about that before I assemble the rest of the machine. This front piece and the hand lever is now clean and dried, so looking very nice. Just gonna put it back together again with and the difficult part is getting the LED into place. Alright, that's it. I think this is working good now. We'll see. Just a little electronic cleaner into the contact. Oh yeah, one more thing. There was a tiny bit of rust on this drive motor. Just gonna scrape it off and use a little bit of rust remover. This is actually a WD-40, not rust remover. Alright, that's one serviced floppy drive mechanism. So, next task on the restoration list is the CRT monitor. And this might be worth a complete episode in its own, so maybe it will be. We'll see how long it takes. The CRT module is full of dust and shit, as all the rest of the machine, and I'm gonna clean it all up and I'm gonna disassemble it a bit because I want to recap it. This is perhaps the most important part to recap, and not really sure how many caps there are, but there are two boards, this one on the side and there's below underneath the CRT. So I'll start by removing the glass plate in front of the CRT screen, and it's held in place by these metal clips. I think you just push them a little bit back and then you can clip them off. Yeah, quite easy. So it has a cut-off corner, which should correspond with the corner here. I'm just going to take this down and clean it in soapy water. It is very dirty on, yeah, it looks like both sides. The actual screen I'm going to spray with some isopropanol and just wipe it off. So it was a little bit dirt, not much, but there's always some build up from the air around over the years. Even if things are enclosed, there still is some particles able to cover everything. So now the glass is absolutely clean and shiny. Next I'm gonna try and disassemble this a little bit, just to get the PCBs clear, so that I can check out the state and also recap them. So I start with this one. Now, before I continue with this, I have to warn you again, there are potentially high voltages in these kinds of screens. Now, this has been disconnected for several days, but I'm still gonna try and discharge the screen by putting a little screwdriver which I have connected with a wire here to ground, and then I'm gonna just insert it under this contact here. So something like that. Now it's touching the metal on the contact, so it should be discharged. So I'm lifting up this PCB now. See what's underneath. Alright, so there's like 8 contacts to this little board, so I think I'll have to take good photos and then I can disconnect the contacts. Alright, that's that little board. I'm not sure what it does. I don't know so much about CRT monitors. And, so it is a single-sided board with traces on only one side, and it says monitor PCB. Now the second board is this large one here, and how can I remove it without disassembling the whole thing? So I think I'm gonna remove those 2 screws now, because this looks to be holding the actual CRT to the frame, and also there are indentations in the PCB that indicates that it is meant to come out before the PCB is removed. So so now the frame is loose from the CRT, and but only on that side, not on this side, because behind this shield there looks to be some other screws holding the CRT to the frame. So oh, these are really stuck. So now this is loose on that side, but still one screw here. So to actually be able to keep track of all the screws, I have different cups for all the different parts. One cup for this CRT monitor. Now here's a little cable tie, the ones you can actually release, and behind that there's actually a screw. So one more thing to unscrew. So there it is. Probably one there too, so there's a lot of things going on. Yeah, one of the same kind here. So now we can remove this shield, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Oh my god, so this isn't really very serviceable. If I had to replace a capacitor, I have to disassemble the whole thing, but I think maybe this is the next step, to remove these screws. Okay, now the CRT is loose. So now I just have to remove it without damaging anything. And way down there's a connector too. So with a set of pliers, I think I might get it out. Yeah, there it is. Anyway, that was just a dead end because I still need to remove this whole thing just to be able to remove the PCB. So just continue with the screwing or unscrewing. So it even seems like I'm gonna have to remove the speaker as well. So try not to drop your screwdriver while you're unscrewing. Now I think I can unscrew all the 4 screws that holds the PCB down. Holy macaroni, so much work just to replace a few caps. If I only had like a service manual or something, but maybe there actually is one. I haven't looked for one. Okay, so how do we get this whole cable mess around? Okay, so I just realized I have to remove this contact to the CRT. What's it called? I think you just squeeze those 2 leads together. Yeah, like that. There's a cable tie over there which I'm gonna remove. And another little cable tie here. Now there's 2 more contacts, one here. Then there is some ground contact there. So actually I decided this is as far as I want to go with the disassembling of the CRT, because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose control over the wiring and everything. There's even more contacts here, and there's even some wires that's soldered to the board, but now it's free, so I can actually check out the electrolytes and clean it and also recap it. So now I'm just gonna do a little bit of general cleaning of the different parts of this monitor, because there's a lot of dust and shit all over the place. You see how black it is on the screen? So now it's time to take a look at the keyboard, and as you can see, this is a very dirty one. Yeah, I don't think I ever have seen such dirty keycaps before. Maybe it's not showing on the video, but these are supposed to be all white, and they are not yellow, they are just covered in shit. And one of the locks is broken, and a lot of shit and crust down here. So there's a little piece broken off there. The front is okay, a lot of shit and this old sticker. But I don't have only one keyboard, I actually got a second one, and this is actually a little bit more cleaner, and it also has one of the locks broken off, but this one has it on the other side. So yeah, this one actually looks better, so I think I'll be using this one. However, it has some more scratches on the front, so yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna tear apart both of them and clean them as much as I can, but how do you open this? There's no screws that I can see, so maybe I can just use some prying tool and get this top apart. Yeah, looks like that. Just be careful not to break anything. Alright, that's the trick. So there are these tabs that are locked in place behind the bottom cover. You just press them in and then it will release. So I only had to do it on this side, and those two were actually loose. Oh my god, look at this. So much crap and old shit. Looks like there are leaves and all kinds of things. Anyway, now we can unscrew these locks and also the keyboard itself. Take out the springs and keep them in a safe place. Look at this. And this is of course the keyboard connector. Just gonna unscrew that one too. Then remove all the dirty keycaps. I'm almost out of boxes to keep stuff in with this machine. I just use this key puller here. Luckily these keycaps don't have springs attached under them, so a little bit easier than the usual Commodore. Alright, there the whole key lifted actually. So you can actually take off the whole key. So it just has a spring in the middle. You press it down and then the spring comes down. So maybe it's best if I take these off and clean them too. Look at all this shit onto the keyboard membrane. And no gloves. Who need gloves? The remaining keys that didn't come off by themselves I just push down from the back side. So now everything is in bits and ready to be cleaned. So the keys have cleaned up nicely, but there is one issue. You can see the space bar has yellowed a lot, whereas the other keys have not. So this one clearly is another type of plastic. So you see the back side is actually white. So yeah, this one needs a little bit of retro brighting. For retro brighting I use this 12% hydrogen peroxide cream and just a little amount into a plastic bag. Then I just put it into the bag and massage it around. So I just put it in the oven with the oven set to 50 degrees Celsius for a couple of hours. The keys are finished and the retro brighting of the space key went very well. As you can see, it's completely renewed with a light gray color, not yellow. So it's time to assemble the keyboard again, and this should be fairly easy. Just push them down through their holes and they go in just one or two directions anyway, so not possible to do this wrong. One thing you need to make sure is that the little spring in the middle is present, because it can fall out. I had at least 3 of the springs fell out when I cleaned them. There are 2 keys that are special. It's this longer one that is the space, no, it's the return key, and then you have this one which is formed like a triangle. It is for the caps lock. So that's it, then the keycaps. So there's not anything special about this, so you just push them right down. Thing is to find the correct place for each keycap, but of course I have a picture of the keyboard I took before I started. Return key is of course a little bit more difficult because it has these hooks. Try not to break them. Nice. Okay, final piece of the puzzle is to assemble the keyboard, and yeah, that should be fairly easy. Then we have these locks, and one of those were broken, but I took the one from the other keyboard, and these are, they have a spring. I think it goes in like that, and then you have this cover. And then the little screws. And of course the other side. Finally, the top piece of the keyboard case. Just push it in and there you have it, one restored SX-64 keyboard, looking nice.